All right, we're on chapter number 1, basic skills or basic training, and we're going to run through something that we're going to use all year long, and this is unit conversions. So you got to make sure and get this. So we're on page 5 of your notes, unit conversions. We're going to basically run through a couple things you need to have memorized first before we kind of jump into this. So here are some of the things you need to have kind of commit to memory. Probably some of these you already have memorized. So you need to know that 1 mile is 5,280 feet. Got to have that known. We'll not give that to you in a test, and I'll expect you to know that on the test. You should already know that 1 foot is 12 inches, and there's a typo on my part. I probably should put 1 out in front of there. And then the next one is 1 inch, and then you're going to notice it's got 3 lines. I'm going to tell you about that in just a second. 1 inch is defined as 2.54 centimeters. What's kind of interesting is a while ago, the inch was not exactly 2.54 centimeters. It's actually 2.54 and a bunch of decimal points. And they found out that it was going to make a little bit more sense for us in terms of the converting if we actually adjust the length of the inch a smidgen so that it was directly equal to or exactly equal to 2.54 centimeters. And so they actually changed the inch a little bit, and the inch was adjusted and defined in 1959. And so anytime you see those 3 lines, that means it's been defined that way. Okay, the next one is cubic centimeter. Cubic centimeter, the abbreviation for it is a cc, and you need to know that. Sometimes when you go to the hospital, you hear people getting 3 cc's of whatever, and that just means 3 cubic centimeters of whatever it is that they're receiving. And it's also equal to 1 milliliter. And I have right here, you can see it relative to my finger. This is a piece of putty that I've kind of shaped into basically a cubic centimeter. You can think of a cubic centimeter as almost like if you take the last digit of your pinky and rip it off, that would be almost a cubic centimeter. And so a cubic centimeter is very simple. It's basically a centimeter. See if I can get this to a place where you can actually see it. This isn't exact, but it's close. So it's about a centimeter. If I rotate it again, about a centimeter on a side. And there it is. And we call that a cc or a milliliter. So just need to have a good feel for what that is as we move along through these. All right, so distribute and explain the conversion sheet. So this is going to be real handy. You will not be able to use this on the test, but in terms of being able to learn the concept, I think you're going to find out that this is going to be quite helpful. So what I have right here, and you should have received one if you're in class, is a conversion sheet. And this conversion sheet has 2 different rooms. On the left side is a metric room, and on the right side is a British room. And notice the only way that I can get from the metric room, which is over here, to the British room is by going through the hallway between them. And the hallway, and there's another typo I need to be aware of. Should have a 3 there, or 3 lines, so it should be defined as not necessarily an equal to, although the equal to is okay. So the hallway is defined as 2.54 centimeters is equal to 1 inch. And so the only way we can get from the British room to the metric room, or vice versa, is to go through the hallway. And the hallway is that key conversion. And so we're going to come back and look at that in just a bit. Now, I'm not going to show you this video, but it is an absolutely, if you want to look it up on your own time, it is a hilarious video. It's all about getting measurements correct. And especially with conversions. And if you just Google Verizon math, you'll probably find it quite fast. And it's actually an exchange between a caller asking Verizon a question and a Verizon operator trying to answer that question. They really can't get on the same page with the way it's presented. So anyway, we're just going to basically use those and run through example number 3. So this will take us quite a bit of time. So kind of settle in, and we'll roll through these. All right, the first thing we need to know is that there's 93 million miles between the sun and the earth, and that's we give that a name. So the name we give that is called an astronomical unit. And so we're going to convert 93 million miles, which is the distance between the sun and the earth, it's called an astronomical unit, to kilometers, and we're going to use the conversion sheet. So I'm going to kind of have to go back and forth on the video a little bit. It'll drive you kind of crazy. So we're going to start at miles. So miles is a British unit, and so miles is down here on the British side. And we want to go all the way over to kilometers, and kilometers is over here on the metric side. And where is kilometers at? Here's kilometers. It's at the top. So the only way to get from miles, which is down here, to kilometers on the other side is to basically go like that. And so every time I go through a conversion, that means that's a conversion that I need to do on my sheet. And if you have not done this before, it's a little awkward at first, but you'll find out that it will make life really, really, really nice for you later on. So we're going to start with 93 million miles because that's what they give us. So there's 93 million miles. And the way I show it is with a long line and then a bunch of vertical lines after it. All right, let's just keep in mind this is in the numerator. All right, so the first step, if I go back to my room, is to go from miles to feet. And the conversion between miles and feet is 5,280 feet. So I'm going to put 1 mile down here, and I'll tell you why in just a moment, and then 5,280 feet on top. All right, so why do I put miles on bottom and feet on top? I put miles on bottom because I want to be able to cancel it out. So if I were to stop this problem right now, I will have converted 93 million miles to feet. That's how it works. But I don't want to stop at feet. I want to keep going. So if I go back to my sheet, I just went to feet, and now I'm going to go from feet to inches. From feet to inches. And to go from feet to inches, I know that the conversion between feet and inches is 12 inches is 1 foot. So I'll put the feet down here because I want to be able to cancel those out, and then inches goes on top. So now the question is well, where does the 12 inches go? So where's the 12 go? Well, the 12, notice the 12 goes with the inches and the 1 goes with the foot. So wherever I see inches, I got to put 12, and where I see feet, I got to put the 1. So I'll put the 1 down here and the 12 on top. All right, continue to move. So now I'm at inches. Now I want to be able to go from inches to centimeters. To go from inches to centimeters, I have to go through the hallway, which is 2.54 centimeters, is defined as 1 inch. So I'm going to put inches on the bottom. Why do I want to put inches on the bottom? Because I want to be able to cancel it out. And then we're going to centimeters on the next step. So the question is where does the 2.54 go? Notice it goes with the centimeters. So wherever I find centimeters, I got to put the 2.54, and there's the 1 that goes with the inches. Next step. Keep moving through. This is a long one. All right, and then I'm at centimeters. Now I'm going to go from centimeters to meters. And so there's 100 centimeters in every meter. So I'll put centimeters on bottom because I want to be able to cancel out. Meters for this step, and there's 100 centimeters in every meter. And I have one more step left, and that is to go from meters to kilometers. And there's 1,000 meters in every kilometer. So here's the meters. I want to be able to cancel it out and put kilometers on top. So there's a kilometer and then meters. And there we are. So the first task is just to be able to set it up. And once I set it up, then I can multiply it together. So I'm going to try to actually do this on my calculator. Actually, this is not my calculator. This is someone else's calculator. You're going to have to ignore the writing on the side of it. I'm kind of borrowing it for the time being. Somebody loves Riley. I don't know. That's somebody. So here we go. Pull this out a little bit so you can see everything. All right, the key idea on this is to multiply, and if you're going to listen to anything, this is what you want to be able to listen to. You want to multiply everything on the top together first. So any number that's on the top, regardless if it's the beginning or if it's at the end, you want to multiply it all together at the beginning. So I've got 93 million first, so I'm going to go 93 million. So I'll enter that in my calculator, and that's, if I look at that, yep, that's 93 million. I'm going to multiply that by 5,280 because that's in top. The next thing on top is 12, and then 2.54. All right, now I hit enter. Now I'm not done with this, but I just hit enter. Once I get all the numbers in the top multiplied together, I just hit enter. Now obviously you don't have to worry about the ones that are on top. You can ignore those. And then the next thing is to do the bottom. Now here's what's tricky about this. Watch what I do on this, and I'm going to actually see if I can zoom this out just a little bit more. When I do this, I have the only, well, I guess let me go backwards. The only thing I have, there's two numbers on the bottom. I've got a 1, a 1, a 1, and I have 100 and 1,000. I don't really care about the ones. It's the 100 and 1,000 that I'm concerned about. Since they're in the denominator, I'm going to hit divide. And I'm going to hit 100. And here's where everybody screws up. So I'm going to put it on the video so you know how to get around this. Because the 1,000 is in the denominator, I don't hit multiply, I hit divide again. So I'm going to go back up here and show you. I'm going to hit the divide button. There it is. I just hit it. And notice that the divide shows up on the calculator as well. And then I'm going to put 1,000. Bam, and hit enter. And there's my answer. So I'm going to round that to round the 4 up to a 5, and I'll write the answer over here. I'm going to put it in scientific notation. So that's going to be 1.5 times 10, and what is that going to be? There's 3, there's 6, 7, 8. So times 10 to the 8th, and that'll be kilometers, and there's your answer. The big thing, and I'll point right here, is divide. Everybody sees these two guys down here multiply together, and they'll multiply instead of divide here. Because the 1,000 is in the denominator, you divide. You don't multiply. Okay, so there's part 1, question 1 of example number 3. And so let's see what else here. Okay, we got to go to your equation sheet. And if you go to your equation sheet, on the back side, we need to fill in a couple things because we just figured out what an AU is. We need to fill it out on here. So we just calculated that an AU was 93 million. Million is times 10 to the 6 miles. Or, and look at that, we just calculated that, 1.5 times 10 to the 8th kilometers. Now, theirs is in kilometers and ours was in meters, so we'll have to add 3 to that and get the 11. Actually, no, there it is. It's kilometers. It's 8. I was wrong. So there we are. There's the first one. All right, we got quite a few to go, so here we go. The next one is to convert a cross-country race that's measured in miles to inches. And for those of you that know anything about cross-country, you know that it is a 3-mile race. So we're going to go ahead and do that conversion next. And so we're at miles, we're going to go to the inches. So where's miles on my chart? Miles is down here in the corner. So there's miles. And inches, I don't have to go as far. Inches is right here. So all I have to do is go right here. So I'll go ahead and work those conversions. So we're going to start off with 3 miles. I draw my line and my big long line. And then my first one is to go from miles to feet. So I'm going to put miles on the bottom. Why do I put miles on the bottom? Because I want to be able to cancel it out. The first step is to get to feet. Okay, now look at this 5,280. It's next to the foot. It goes with the foot. So wherever the foot goes, the 5,280 goes with it. So since the feet are on the top, I'll put 5,280 feet on the top and the mile on the bottom. Next one is to go from feet to inches. And so 12 inches is a foot. I'll put the foot down there so I can cancel it out. The next step is inches, and I know that the 12 goes with the inches. And I think that's it. So this is an easier one to do. And I'll go ahead and plug these in. So let's see if I can do it on a calculator so you can see it. So it's 3 times 5,280 times 12, and hit enter. And there's the answer, 190080, and then that'll be inches. Make sure and put the inches on there. You gotta have the inches. All right, moving along. Doing great. Number 3 is converting the size of an atom, which is roughly 2 nanometers, to meters. And this one's actually easy. So 2 nanometers. All we have to do is get to meters. So I need to get rid of this nano. And that's where I'm going to go back to my equation sheet and look up nano. So nano is right here. It's times 10 to the 9th. And so we've done this already. So times 10 to the 9th. Instead of writing the n, I'm going to go 2 times 10 to the minus 9th meters. And there it is. So I didn't need to do a big long conversion on that one. Okay, the next one's got another little twist to it. It's 31 is the blank. So this is the number of square feet added to room 108 during its expansion in 2000. I think it was 5 that we added actually onto this room, which is roughly 1/3 the size of my house, my first house that I had back in Springfield, which is kind of scary. A small house, but it was easy to clean, and I like that about it. All right, so here it is. Square meters to square feet. So let's go back to the conversion sheet and see where we're going. So we're at meters. We're going to go to feet. So let's find meters first. Here's meters. And we're going to go to feet, which sits right over here. So meters all the way to feet. On this one, it's basically about 2-3 steps. So here's the first one. We're going to put meters on the bottom. And the reason we're going to put meters on the bottom is because I got meters sitting on top over here. However, this is where it gets to be tricky. This is area. I'm going to erase this squared and replace it with a meter. I'm hoping that you know that meters squared is the same thing as meters times meters. And that's actually going to help us out a little bit when we do the conversions. So on the first one, we're going from meters to, what was it, centimeters? So we'll put meters here, centimeters on top. So we got 1 here, and the 100 goes on top. Now, look at what happens here. I have one of the meters cancel out. If I were to stop the problem right here and multiply 31 times 100, I would get, what, 3100. My units would be meters times centimeters. Notice, I didn't cancel out that second meter. I have to go one more step and cancel that meter out. So to cancel that meter out, since the meter is on top, I have to go meters on bottom and centimeters on top. So there's my 1, and there's my 100, and there it is. So if I were to stop now, it would be centimeters times centimeters, which would be centimeters squared. But I want to get to feet squared. So to get to feet squared, so I'm at centimeters, I need to go to inches, and there's the conversion between inches and centimeters. So I have to put centimeters on bottom and feet on top. I lied to you. Inches on top. And I know that 2.54 centimeters is 1 inch. Ooh, I'm butchering this up all over the place. There's inch. Now notice, that canceled one of the centimeters out, but it didn't cancel the other one out, so I have to do that again. So 2.54. If I go off the screen, just hoot and holler, and I'll get back on the screen for you. I'm sure I'll hear you. So there's your centimeters. They cancel out. So now, if I stopped right now, I'd be at inches times inches. Okay, the last bit is to get all the way out to square feet. And so the conversion between feet and inches is 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. And I'm going to show you a little shortcut now. Instead of writing out, well, here, let's do 12 inches and 1 foot. So we cancel out the inches. Instead of writing out 1 foot and 12 inches again, what I can do is I can come in and I can square it. And that's a shortcut. Now, I'm not a big fan of the shortcut, especially when you first learn how to do these, because a lot of people get confused on them. But I need to show you the shortcut so that you are at least aware of it, and we can use it later on. So here it is. I'm going to go ahead and plug all this stuff in. I'm going to, again, be concerned about the numbers in the numerator first. So I've got a 31 in the numerator, I've got 100 in the numerator, and I've got 100 in the meter. So there they are. I'll hit enter, and there it is. All right, now notice I've got really 4 numbers in the denominator. I got a 2.54, a 2.54, and I have 2 12s that are multiplied together because that 12 is squared because of the parenthesis. So I have to go divide by 2.54, divide by 2.54, divide by 12, divide by 12. That's 4 steps. That's 4 division lines. And do not, whatever you do not multiply 2.54 times 2.54 times 12 times 12. You will get a wrong answer on that one. So here it is. I'm going divide. 2.54. There's divide again. Don't hit multiply. 2.54. Divide by the 12 and then divide by the 12. And if I hit enter, I will get the answer. And there it is right there. 333.7. So we'll say 333.7 feet squared, and there it is. Bam, we've got it. Okay, number 5, another conversion. A typical basketball, here's your basketball right there. A typical basketball is 17 times 10 to the third milliliters. And we're going to convert that to cubic feet. And this one requires a unique conversion. So we're going to go to our our conversion sheet. So here's your conversion sheet. And we need to fill in some of this stuff below. So we're going to fill it in. And we know some of this already. So we know that 1 mile is 5,280 feet. 1 foot is 12 inches. I got that right with the 3 of them there. So 1 inch is defined as 2.54 centimeters. 1 milliliter is equal to 1 cubic centimeter, which is equal to 1 cc. Remember that one? That's this guy. And then we'll get to the next one in just a moment. All right, so we're going to need to know that 1 milliliter is the same thing as a cubic centimeter. That's kind of what we need to know, and I'm going to write that up here in number 5. 1 milliliter is equal to 1 cubic centimeter, and I'm going to use that to actually do this problem. So here it is. So 17 times 10 to the third milliliters. Draw my line. All right, now I'm going to use this conversion. So I'm actually not using the 2 rooms yet. I'm going to use this conversion. Since I have milliliters on top, I'm going to put milliliters on bottom. There's my centimeters cubed. And then 1 and 1, because the 1 in there. Now, that milliliters cancels that milliliters out. Since this occurred just once, I don't have to do it 3 times like I did up here, or twice like I did up here. That milliliters just shows up once, so don't do it 3 times. But however, on the next step, we will. All right, now we're at centimeters. So we are actually in the room. So where's our centimeters at? Our centimeters is actually right in the hallway. So actually we're starting right in the hallway. So here's our centimeters. So 2.54 centimeters equals 1 inch. We're going to use that one because I want to get all the way out to cubic feet. So 2.54 centimeters is 1 inch. Now notice this is cubed. So I have to do that 3 times, or the shortcut is to cube the whole thing. And that's what a lot of you are going to forget if you're not careful. All right, so this is now we're at inches cubed. The next thing is to go to cubic feet. So on my sheet, 12 inches is a foot. So we're going to put inches on bottom, foot on top, inches on top here, inches on bottom here, 12 inches, 1 foot. There's my 1 foot. Since I have inches cubed here, I have to cube the whole thing. All right, here it is. Let's clear this off. Start in the top. So 17 times 10 to the third. And actually, that brings me to a real important. I think I'll do is I'll do it right now. When you plug in the number 17 times 10 to the third onto your calculator, you got to do it correctly. And I'm going to do it incorrectly, and then I'm going to do it correctly. So I'm going to clear this off. A lot of people, when they do scientific notation, they'll see the scientific notation, they'll see the times, they'll see the 10, and they'll do the caret, and then they'll do the 3. That's not necessarily wrong when you do it that way, but you're going to find out that that is going to give you all kinds of problems. And so I don't suggest that you do it that way. Actually, what I would suggest that you do is I would suggest that you'd use the EE button. It's right here on your calculator. It's right above the comma on this particular calculator. So you're going to go 17. You're going to go second E, and this is what's going to show up on your calculator, and then you hit 3. What you see there is the same thing that they had up there. Those 2 numbers are the same thing. But check this out. This E does the times, and it does the 10, and it does the caret. And that is going to make life so much easier for you as we move through questions and problems throughout the year. So when you do scientific notation, use the EE button. Don't do the times, the 10, and the caret. I will not help you in class if you do that. That will drive me crazy, and I'll mention it too in the lecture during class. But you all don't do scientific notation with the E button. Okay, so I'm going to clear off what I've got. I'll do 17 times 10 to the third. So there it is in scientific notation. Now remember, I'm concerned about all the numbers in the numerator first, and they're all 1s in this case. So I don't have to multiply it times anything. I'm going to hit divide though, and I got to be careful of this. I've got 2.54 entered 3 times in the denominator. Remember, it's cubed. And I also have 12 entered 3 times in the denominator. Remember, it too is cubed. So when I do this one, I have to divide by 2.54 3 times and divide by 12 3 times as well. Just grabbing a drink, I'm thirsty. So, You can do the shortcut and use the parentheses, but I am not a fan of the parentheses. I am a fan of just doing it the old-fashioned way. And watch what I do here. So I'm going to divide by 2.54. There's 1. Divide by 2.54. Notice I hit divide every single time because it's in the denominator. D for divide, D for denominator. Divide by 2.54. Divide by 12. Again, the 12s are all in the denominator. Notice I divided by 12 each time, and I did it 3 times. I'll hit enter, and there it is. So it's going to be 0.6 cubic feet. So a basketball is about a half of a cubic foot. Okay, the next one, number 6, is to convert the number of miles between here and Springfield to square centimeters. So this is going to be 900, let's say 100, it's basically 198 miles between here and Springfield. It's where I used to teach, and I taught there for 11 years, to square centimeters. So let's do it. So we're going to go 980 miles, and we're going to go to centimeters. So let's find miles first on the equation sheet, or on the conversion sheet. So there's your miles, and we're going to centimeters. So centimeters is right here. So we first have to go to feet. So let's do that. So we got 198 miles, and that's going to be 1 mile is 5,280 feet. Going a little bit quicker now, so the miles cancel out. The next stretch is to go from feet to inches. So 1 foot is 12 inches. Cancel those out. And then the last step is to go from inches to centimeters. And we know that 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. And I'm hoping you know we got a problem. Notice that miles cancel out, feet cancel out, inches cancel out. And what am I left with? I am left with plain Jane vanilla centimeters. But the question actually asks for square centimeters, which means we got a problem. And actually the problem is significant on this particular issue. We can't do this problem. This problem cannot be done, and here's the reason. Miles is a measure of distance, and square centimeters is a measurement of area. And we cannot go from one dimension to another dimension unless we have a conversion between the two, and we don't have a conversion in this case. So this problem cannot be done. There is no answer, no answer to this problem, which leads us right into the key thought down here. Conversions may only be made between units of like dimensions. Only between units of like dimensions. So you can go from area to area, length to length, volume to volume, time to time, but you can't go area to time to length. It's always got to be the same dimensions. All right, the next one, number 7, convert miles per hour to meters per second. This is the basically how fast a world-class sprinter can travel, and we'll actually do this later this year. We're going to convert 30 miles per hour to meters per second. Now notice this one's a little different. Miles per hour is speed, and this one over here is speed. So we have the same dimension, speed to speed, so it can be done. This one's a little got a little bit of a different twist to it. So there's miles, and then hours goes in on the bottom. So it's real important that you show it as miles per hour. Now notice, we're going from miles per hour to meters per second. So we have to convert miles to seconds. And we know how to do that. And we have to convert hours. I said that wrong. We have to convert miles to meters. We've done that. That shouldn't be an issue. And we have to convert hours to seconds. So we're going to do them separately. We're not going to do them all at once. We'll put it in the same problem, but we'll do them kind of one at a time, you could say. So let's do the first one. We're going to go one that we know how to do, and that's miles to meters. I'm going to ignore the hours for right now. So I know that miles is on top, so I'm going to put miles on bottom so I can cancel them out. So 1 mile is 5,280 feet. I want to go to meters. And the only way to go to meters is to go through the hallway. To get to the hallway, I'm going to say that 1 foot is 12 inches. Walk through the hallway. 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. My feet cancel out. My inches cancel out. And then centimeters is 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Now, if I were to stop right now, I would have meters on the top, and way back here I would have hours in the denominator. I would have meters per hour. But I don't want meters per hour, I want meters per second. So, what I'm going to do next is this. I'm going to convert hours to seconds. I know that 1 hour is equal to 60 seconds. And so I'm going to, 1 hour is equal to, how about 60 minutes? And so I'm going to do that first conversion first. Now notice, I put hours down here because, I put miles down on the bottom because miles is on top. And I can cancel something on top with something on bottom. I'm going to use that same concept to figure out where to put the hours over here. Since hours is in the bottom on this one, I'm going to put hours on the top on this one. That way I can cancel those out. And I'm going to put minutes on the bottom. Notice the 60 goes with the minutes. If I were to stop now, I would have meters per minute. But I don't want meters per minute, I want meters per second. So I'm going to do one more conversion. I know that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. And so minutes is on bottom, put minutes on top, that way they cancel out. Put seconds on the bottom, 1 minute, 60 seconds, and then I multiply them. And here we go. So I'm going to go 30, turn it on first, clear the old one off. So 30 times 5,280 times 12, 2.54, divide by 100, divide by 60, and divide by 60. And I get 13.4 meters per second. And there it is. Okay, now, there's a couple things that we need to be aware of there. We need to make, going to help us move through these a little quicker. We need to know that 60 times 60 is 3,600. So we can actually, instead of saying all this, we could have done 1 hour is, instead of doing all this, we could have said 3,600 seconds. That's just a nice conversion to be able to know. The other conversion we need to know is the conversion between miles and meters. It sure would be nice to have that handy. So everything I boxed in there is the conversion between miles and meters. I'm going to go ahead and plug those in. So 30 times 5,280 times 12 times 2.54 and divide by 100. And I get something I wasn't anticipating. How about I try that again? So we're going to do, why am I not getting this? Let's try that again, because I am stumped. Oh, I don't want to put them. I don't want to have this front part. It's just the stuff that I got boxed in, except for that 30. That's my mistake. 5,280. Let's try this again. Times 12 times 2.54 and divide by 100. And there it is. How about divide by 100? How about I do that one more time correctly? 5,280 times 12 times 2.54 divide by, there's 100. And there's a number I'm looking for. It is 1609, and that number is very, very nice for us to know. So the conversion between miles and meters is 1609, and we'll come back to that later on. Okay, the next one we're moving on is gallons to liters, and we want to know how many liters there are in 1 gallon. And to be able to do this, we're actually going to use your textbook. So if you go find your textbook and you look and open your textbook up, and I'll show you on the video here in just a moment. So here's your textbook. Here's the front cover. Let me zoom out a little bit. If you open up the textbook and go to the second page inside the cover, you're going to get to a page that looks like this. I can't show the whole thing on the video, but it is a page of one conversion after another conversion. It's just a number of different conversions. And if we go back to the question that we're looking for here, notice that what are we trying to do? We're trying to convert gallons to liters. Well, gallons is volume and liters is volume. So we're trying to get gallons to liters. So I'm going to go in the book and I'm going to look for the dimension that is volume. And volume falls right here. And if we zoom in on this, we're going to notice that there's a lot of conversions that will be given to us in volume. And you're going to find out that this is going to be nice to have. And what I want to know how many liters there are in 1 gallon. If I go down here, I know that 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. You probably heard that before. 231 cubic inches, 0.134 cubic feet, and look at this, 1.3785 liters. So I can say that 1 gallon is equal to 3.875 liters, and that's actually the conversion that I'm going to use on this particular problem. So I'm going to start out with 1 gallon. I just looked up the conversion, and the conversion is 1 gallon, put gallons on bottom so it cancels out, it's 3.785 liters. And then I just multiply those together. I can do that in my head, and there it is. In class, what we'll do in class is actually take a whole gallon of water and pour it into liter bottles, and we'll find out that we'll need about 3.5 or so liter bottles, 1 liter bottles, to make that work. So, key thought at the bottom of the page. Here it is. The inside front cover of your textbook contains many useful conversions, and there it is. All right, you can look at the cartoon. Come find me. I'll show you the cartoon, but I'm not going to show it on this video. You need to go to class maybe to see it. Okay, we got two more to do, and then we'll stop the video. The next one is a conversion between cubic centimeters of water and liters. Now I'm kind of looking at my own notes for the number. So we're looking for 1,000 cubic centimeters of water to liters. So we want to know what that is. All right, so let's start off with what they give us. They give us 1,000 cubic centimeters of water, and I want to be able to convert. I want to go to liters. The problem is, here's the issue: centimeters is on the sheet, but liters isn't in the rooms. So I'm kind of starting out in the rooms, and I'm going out of the rooms, and kind of when that happens, you kind of need to know that these conversions at the bottom are going to kind of help you out a little bit. So we need to know that 1 milliliter is the same thing as 1 cubic centimeter, which is the same thing as 1 cc. We need to know that. So that's going to help us out here. So we're going to say that 1 cubic centimeter, 1 centimeter cubed, is equal to 1 milliliter. And that's what we just see. That was on the sheet. I'll write it up here just in case you didn't hear it. 1 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 milliliter. Now I'm at milliliters. I need to get to liters. Okay, now the conversion between milli and liters. I'm trying to figure out maybe the best way. I'll tell you what, actually, let's get around that. And let's do it this way. Let's actually calculate this on the calculator first, and then I'll show you how to deal with the milli. So we're going to go ahead and do the calculation. So I've got 1,000 here. And notice what I did. I'm multiplying times 1 and dividing by 1 down here. So it's 1,000. So the answer, the first part of this, is 1,000 milliliters. But I don't want the answer in milliliters. I want it in plain Jane vanilla liters. So if I go to my equation sheet and I look up milli is times 10 to the minus third. So I'm going to go ahead and scratch out milli and put times 10 to the minus third in here. So there's 1,000 times 10 to the minus third. I've shown you how to do that before. And then if I do, let's see, 1,000. 1,000 is really 10 cubed. Now look at what I've got. What's 10 cubed times 10 to the minus 3? So 10 cubed times 10 to the minus 3 is 1. And that gives us 1 plain old liter. So 1,000 cubic centimeters is equal to 1 liter. And that's going to be really, really helpful to us. So down here, and if you were in class, I would actually show you a demonstration. So that's helpful to be in class for that. But I'll at least give you this. So 1 liter of water is equal to 1,000 cubic centimeters of water and 1 kilogram of water. And you need to have that memorized. And actually, that's on your equation sheet or your conversion sheet. So 1 liter of water is equal to 1,000 cubic centimeters and 1 kilogram of water. And there it is. All right, the other thing we need to know is the density of water. So the density of water is 1 kilogram per liter or 1 gram per milliliter. And that's helpful as well. Alright, so take note on your conversion sheet, and we already showed that, so we're done with that part. Okay, the last bit is to convert hectograms to pounds near the surface of Earth. So we're going to throw up 50 hectograms, and we're going to convert it to pounds. Now, there's a problem on this. Grams measures mass, and pounds measures weight. And I just had a knock on the door, so I'm going to stop this video, and I'll pick it up on the next video.